What up, Robstar gang? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Robstar Report. Appreciate you guys. We're going to be breaking down, of course, the free agency. We already kind of broke down the first night. We broke. Then I wasn't live last night. Of course, we had the NFC South roundtable, so I did that last night. We broke down basically what we broke down on Monday on there. But now tonight, we're going to kind of recap everything. All right. I mean, free agency technically isn't over. But, to this point, it is, technically to this point, it's like, I guess you could consider it over, but it's not. You know what I mean? So anyways, shout out to everybody who's in the chat already. For some reason, I cannot go live over on X. So I don't know what's going on. I can't stand the fact that I can't go live over on X, but let's see if I can get it fixed because I'm trying to go live over on X, but I don't know what is going on. Apparently, there's an error occurring over there. So it is what it is. So shout out to everyone. What's up, everyone over on TikTok? Appreciate you guys. Let's go, Josh. What's good? Justin, what's good? Earl Locklear, what's good? Appreciate you. Drew, what do y'all think about the John Metchie pickup? I'll talk about that here in a minute. Drew, all right. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. We're going to break everything back down, basically from the Phillips all the way down to the Metchie. We're going to talk about the restructuring of Derek Brown. And we're going to be talking about the release, of course, of A'Shawn Robinson. Now, he just signed with Tampa Bay. So, a lot of stuff has happened for the Carolina Panthers already in free agency. A lot of good stuff. Some people may disagree, but I mean, Dan Morgan hit the gas pedal, broke a few things, and still might not be done. Obviously, like we didn't tiptoe around this free agency. All right, like they came in like a guy, opening the front door because kicking it. He came in like a guy kicking open the front door because he forgot he had the keys in his pocket. That's what happened. General Manager Dan Morgan said ahead of free agency that they plan to be aggressive, especially on that defense. It wasn't a PR stunt. It was the actual plan. And once legal tampering window open, we got to work fast. All right. The result was so far has been a mix of major swings, practical patchwork, financial gymnastics, and a few losses that could come back to bite us, right? But we'll see. Carolina upgraded its defense in a serious way. You added some offensive insurance as well on top of you reunite with Bryce Young with a familiar target, as in John Metchie. Then you had to start cleaning up the salary cap mess that comes with all of that, right? So in other words, this has been a real NFL offseason, half vision, half accounting, half control chaos. But I'm gonna bring you the full picture tonight. And then we're also going to talk about where do we go from here, right? What's next? Now what I mean by that is let's talk about the draft, right? Let's talk about the draft. All right. Let's talk about the draft because that's the next step. Because free agency is technically it's basically over. It's not over. It's not over until, a certain extent, right? But you get where I'm getting at, right? We're going to talk about what we're going to do in the draft next. All right. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to share my screen over here. Let me make sure I got it. Okay, I'm good over here. All right, share this. What's up, Chucktown Panther? What's up, Jamon Hyman? Appreciate you guys over here on the YouTube channel. Appreciate Bam in the chat on TikTok. Appreciate Shady in the chat over here on TikTok. Shout out to you guys on the TikTok. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. What up, Antonio, over here on the YouTube channel? Appreciate you. All right, so it's of course we have agreed to terms with Jaelan Phillips, so we knew that was coming. So here's the thing. The biggest swing by far was Jaelan Phillips. All right, the pass rush was a problem. Okay, the move that defined our free agency happened immediately. Right, you go out, you sign Jaelan Phillips to a 4-year, $120 million contract. Right, $80 million guarantee. That is not nice value money. Okay, that is not solid addition money. That is, we identified a problem and tried to hit it with a sledgehammer, as in money. And the problem was obvious, because when we go and look at our statistics from a sack standpoint, we ranked 31st in the NFL last year. That is one spot above dead last, which is basically the football version of saying your car technically still runs, even though smoke is coming out the hood. If we're just being honest here. Okay, so, Panthers sack leaders were Derek Brown and Nick Scorton. Both had only 5 sacks. It might have been 5.5. I think it was 5. All right, Jim Perry, appreciate that heart me. Thank you. Phillips had 5 sacks himself last season in the short period of time that he was there in Philadelphia, which would have tied the team lead in Carolina. But let's also not forget, last year, he had over 62 pressures, which was nearly half of the pressures we had. So that stat alone explains why the Panthers were willing to spend big money. All right. This wasn't about sack totals, though. Okay, because Phillips brings flexibility. See, everybody is already harping that we need to go get Max Crosby. We need to go get Trey Hendrickson. Y'all are some greedy people, man. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, I've never seen a fan base that's just dissatisfied like the Carolina Panthers. And maybe it's like that with every fan base, but maybe I'm just the only realistic fan of this team. I don't know. I've just never seen I've never seen a fan base that is this dissatisfied from a. I've just never seen a fan base this dissatisfied. I've just never seen it. It blows my mind. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. And number 2, Trey Hendrickson is not a guy that fits this 3-4 defense. You cannot maneuver him around like you can Jaelan Phillips. Jaelan Phillips is a very versatile player. He's very versatile, way more versatile. What's up, Michael Reap? He's way more versatile than a Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson. Okay? Trey Hendrickson is a guy who puts his hands in the dirt. He is not a guy that you put him on the outside like a Jaelan Phillips can. He does not fit the 3-4 scheme. Now, you can make Trey Hendricks work. Hart, man, I've seen a lot of people being dissatisfied about the moves. I've seen a lot of people. And you get a top 10 linebacker on top of that, and you're still dissatisfied because Trey Hendrickson was still out there because he got a cheaper deal. Let's not forget, Jaelan Phillips is 5 years younger than Trey Hendrickson. Do some of you forget the age gap there too as well? Maybe so. Like, I don't understand this. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it with this Carolina Panthers fan base that you're just not satisfied. When Dan goes out there and spends all this money, really be aggressive like he said he was going to do, and we still see people out here talking about, well, we should have got Trey Hendrickson. We should have went after Max Crosby. What has Dan done so well? He has built this team through the draft for the most part. Then he gets real aggressive in free agency, and look what happens. Jaelan Phillips was a better fit than any of those guys. He's a better fit for the 3-4 defense because of the versatility he brings as a defending edge runner. Right? Because go look at Jaelan Phillips during his time at the Miami. and later on with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? He showed that he could move around the defensive front. He can create pressure from more than just one alignment. He can go inside, go outside. He can get his hands in the dirt. He's not just a guy who parks himself on the edge and waits for the snap. You've seen him also do these like fake, like basically look like he's not rushing, but then he goes out to the flat. Also, great run defender. He's a guy that can get out there and get out to the run. He can move. You can move him around like a chess piece, man. That's what matters with Evero's system. You need a guy that you can move around, right? Now you go look at his career production, right? You got 26 sacks, got 205 tackles, you got 32 tackles for a loss, 68 quarterback hits. Okay. Those are strong numbers, man. But they also explain why some people were uneasy about the contract because, yes, I get that Phillips was not consistently putting up double-digit sacks seasons. I get that. But he's been top 5, top 6 in pressures. Miles Deep, hey, I can't be mad at your Saints, man. Can't be mad at the Saints, man. They made some good moves. I'm not mad at the Saints. Listen, they made some good moves. I got to give them credit where credit's due. That's for sure. They had a solid offseason, or they had a solid free agency. No, like, I'm being dead ass. But see, here's the thing. He's not going to give you double-digit sacks. He hasn't had a double-digit sacks. I get that. All right. Injuries have interrupted multiple years of his career. I get that. But see, Carolina's paying him like an elite edge rusher, even though the resume still has some gaps. I get that too. And a lot of you are saying that. Here is the thing. Still in this league, the league does not discount premium pass rushers. Just because fans want a bargain. That's the issue. Teams pay. Scarcity and quality edge defenders are one of the hardest things to find. We looked at the market, we looked at their own pass rush, and they decided that Phillips was worth the risk, right? The logic is pretty simple, ladies and gentlemen. If your pass rush was broken and a top-end talent becomes available, you either pay up or you're going to stay broken in that same position. It's plain and simple. That's how the NFL works. But here's another thing. Look at this. Look at Jaelan Phillips. I'm going to show this. Real quick. Jaelan Phillips pressure rate through age 26 through age 26 season. I guess that's what it means. Through age 26 season. I don't know what that means. Pressure rate through age the 26 up to the 26 season. I'm not sure what that meant. All I know is his pressure rate. He's up there. He's top 5 in pressure rates. Brian Burns was number 1, 10.8%. Max Crosby, 10.8%. Trey Hendrickson, 10.6%. TJ Watt, 10.5%. Jaelan Phillips, 10.6%. The guy gets after the quarterback. Let's not forget, as a defense as a whole, the Carolina Panthers had 124 total pressures last year. This guy had like 63 just by himself in the short time that he played the 10 games in Philadelphia, which means he basically averaged 6 pressures a game, 6 to 7 pressures a game, basically. That tells you all you need to know. So, again, I rest my case on Jaelan Phillips, but we got to stop being greedy as a fan base. I'll tell you that. All right, let's move on to Devin Lloyd. All right, now this was the one that I was pounding the table for. You know me. If you watch my content, I made about at least, I think I made about like at least 3 or 4 videos just on this guy alone. I broke down his film multiple times as well. Let me see over here. So happy about he can stop the run. Yep. So happy we got Devin Lloyd. Hey, bro, Raiders gonna be nice. Hey, Ant, they made some good moves. They made some good moves. That's for sure, Ant. That's for sure. They got big pockets over there. You know what I mean? So I don't blame them. What's up, Rock Jones? What's up, Trizzy? What's up, Rob Blake? What's up, Panthers Gal over here? Let me give some shout outs in the chat. Maybe I missed. What's up, Ernie? I see you in here, Ernie. Who else I miss? What's up, Nader? I see you over here. What's up, Justin? Shout out to you guys. What's up, Broski? I must have missed you, my guy. I'm sorry. What's up, man? What's up, Eli? What's up, Matthew Baxley? Sorry, I got 4 screens going on. If you could see this setup, I got a screen here, screen here, screen here. Got you guys up here. So I'm trying to get to work into everybody. All right, trying to get to everybody. So, all right, let's move on to Devin Lloyd. Let's talk about it. I mean, you finally add a real difference maker in the linebacker room. All right. Like Phillips, I felt like Phillips was the big splash, but then I was like, are we going to get Devin Lloyd? We were live. And I'll say this. I was like, I think it was like 10 o'clock. And I was like, all right, I'm going to log off. I think we're done for the night. I'm like, nah, nothing else is going to happen. The Devin Lloyd thing, is it a hoax, right? So I was like, nah, I'll stick around because us, TikTok, YouTube, X, Twitch, Facebook, we were all just chatting. Everybody was chatting. It's like, okay, we'll stick around. Soon enough, popped up. Carolina Panthers are going to get a deal done with Devin Lloyd tonight, and that popped up. I was like, oh shit. And then after that, then it came out by Adam Schefter, like not even 30 seconds later, Panthers have signed Devin Lloyd. And then finally the next thing came out. It was like 3-year, $45 million contract. So I was like, holy shit. And you know how, if you saw me on live, I was excited. But again, if Phillips was the move that fixed the edges, right? Lloyd was the move that gave the middle of this defense some badly needed life, man. Yo, what's up, Van? Who just sent a heart me? Matthew, shout out to you for that heart me. Dylan, what's up, man? So again, 3-year, $45 million deal. So Lloyd entered the NFL. Let's not forget, he was the 27th overall pick back in that 2022 draft. He was selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars, had a great career at the University of Utah. In college, was an All-American, 2-time first-team All-Pac-12. So this wasn't some under-the-radar reclamation project. He came into the league with a real profile. Now, his rookie year, he backed that up. He had 115 tackles. He had 3 interceptions. He had 8 passes defended, 2 fumble recoveries. And he stayed productive over the next 2 seasons as well, combining for 240 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble. And that was from 2023 through 2024. Took another step in 2025, right? Last season, recorded 5 interceptions in 15 games. First Pro Bowl honors, right? Was named second team All-Pro, right? Helping them win the AFC South. All right. That matters because here's the thing. The Panthers didn't just get a linebacker. They got a guy who can lead this defense. This is a guy who can create turnovers. And we didn't just need a linebacker. All right. We needed a linebacker who could actually run, cover, diagnose coverages, make plays, right? Or not diagnose coverages, but diagnose what the offense is doing is what I meant. Make plays, okay? And for years, we have been trying to patch together the middle of this defense with role players, stopgaps. We never have ever gotten anyone close to ever being Luke Kuechly, right? I get it. Luke Kuechly is probably an anomaly. That's just how it is. Lloyd changes that math, right? He gives the Panthers speed, that range, that real ball production, right? He's that kind of linebacker offenses actually have to account for, which has not consistently been the case in Carolina for a while, right? Put it simply, Carolina didn't buy groceries here. What they bought the expensive thing on the top shelf, okay? We didn't go over here and buy, some cheap tequila, no name. Nah, we got that Don Julio 1942 or 47, whatever it is. All right. Or what's the tequila bottle with the bell on top of it? I can't even remember. It's the white one. I bought it before. It's good. I just can't remember the name of it. But that's what you bought. You bought the expensive stuff. That's what Devin Lloyd is. Okay. What's up, Fear Wolf? You bought the expensive stuff. That's what you got. You didn't buy that cheap tequila. You bought the Devin Lloyd's, that prime time bottle service that you would have to get. You know what I mean? You bought that Don Julio 1942. You bought the like I said, the whatever the white bottle is. I gotta look it up. Now I gotta look up the name of that tequila because it's good. Tequila white bottle with blue design. Yeah. What is it called? Clase Azul. All right. You didn't buy some cheap bottom shelf. You bought Clase Azul. That's what you bought. Good stuff, by the way. Clase Azul, if you're watching this, sponsor me. That would be sick, having a tequila sponsor. Then let's go over to, I'm going to go to the next big thing. I mean, I guess it's not the next big thing, but we're going to go with John. We'll talk about John Metchie. I like this move, and I'm going to tell you why. He's a familiar face for Bryce Young. John Metchie joins our wide receiver room. Like the Panthers didn't spend all their energy on defense. One of their most interesting offensive moves was signing John Metchie, in my opinion, to a one-year deal. You reuniting him with Bryce Young. This one's less about headline value. This is more about chemistry, the upside, and context. Because let's not forget, Metchie and Bryce Young together at Alabama, that connection matters. If you want, go watch Bryce at Alabama with John Metchie highlights. Just put it together. It's like PB&J. That's how good they were, right? That connection matters. Young's first season as Alabama's starting quarterback, Metchie had the best year of his college career. He had 96 catches with over 1,100 receiving yards, and he also had 8 touchdowns. So that season was supposed to launch him cleanly into the NFL, and things got complicated, right? Late in 2021, Metchie tore his ACL, which already made his transition harder. Then after being drafted second round of the 2022 NFL draft by the Texans, he missed entire rookie season because he was battling with leukemia. Okay? That alone changed the trajectory of his early NFL career. And then he returned in 2023, played the next 2 seasons in Houston, and totaled 40 catches for 412 yards, 1 touchdown in 29 games. Before the 2025 season, he also was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, which he caught 4 passes for 18 yards in 7 games. So then came another move. This time he went to the New York Jets. This is where he finally found somewhat of some rhythm, right? In 9 games of the Jets, Metchie posted, looks like 29 catches, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, those type of numbers won't blow anybody's hair back, right? But they do suggest that he found some footing, and now he joins a receiving room led with Tedero McMillan, and you got Jalen Coker, you got Xavier Legette, you got David Moore, you got Jimmy Horn Jr., Bryson Tremaine. Now you got John Metchie into this thing, right? This is going to be an interesting wide receiver room again, man. Like, I'm interested to see how this wide receiver room pans out. This is something I'll be watching during training camp. This is not a save the offense type of move. I do think that it's smart because you're betting on the familiarity and fit with Bryce Young, right? Bryce Young already knows how to throw to him, right? He knows Metchie's tweaks, turns, whatever. Metchie already knows how Young sees the field. So sometimes I feel like that matters more than fantasy football excitement, right? Not every signing has to be fireworks. Sometimes it just has to make sense. I got a feeling Jeremiah Love might fall to us. Do we take him if he's there? No. Van, I don't think so. And I'll dive into, and Van, I'm going to dive more into the draft and stuff like that after I run through all of our, recapping all of our free agency signings. Guys, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button over here on the YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on your content. If you're over here on the TikTok, just punch my face. You can just punch my face from the screen. You can punch it. You can tap it. You can do whatever. You know what I mean? All right. You can do whatever. I'm trying to get this out of here. I don't know why this is showing. Get out of here. There we go. That's better. All right. Let's move on. Let's recap Kenny Pickett real quick. I got to find Kenny Pickett's post. Kenny Pickett. Let's go right here. Let's go to bookmarks. We'll just go to Kenny Pickett. There's Dixon Cider. Yeah, I said it. All right, Kenny Pickett. So this is interesting. Kenny Pickett gives us a real backup quarterback behind Bryce Young. All right. The Panthers also made a practical move to go get this quarterback. You sign Kenny Pickett to a 1-year deal worth up to $7.5 million, $4 million guaranteed. Again, I don't think this is a flashy move. I think it's just to bring competition in here because he's an experienced quarterback. He's younger than Andy Dalton. He's also more mobile than Andy Dalton. And he's also shown that he can be clutch in big moments. We've seen him in games where he's been clutch. Pickett was the 20th overall pick back in that 2022 NFL draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Pittsburgh. His early career didn't go the way anyone in Pittsburgh hoped. After 2 seasons with the Steelers, he was traded to Philadelphia Eagles in 2024. Later, spent time with Cleveland and Las Vegas. And throughout the NFL season, his numbers look like this. So he played 36 games. All right. What's up, Shine? 36 games played, 27 starts, over 4,900 yards, 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, a 62% completion rate, and he also had a 78.2 passer rating. So, again, not special numbers. They're not supposed to be, right? Because Carolina isn't bringing him in here to, I don't think, threaten Bryce Young's job. They brought him in here because the backup quarterback matters, right? We saw that with the Buffalo Bills game last year when Andy Dalton stepped in. Do we need to wake up, bring that up and smell it again or whatever? I don't think so. We don't need to go watch that movie all over again. We've seen it before. But they bring him in because backup quarterback matters in this league, and they want someone who actually seen the field and started games. So that's the whole point of this move for Kenny Pickett. It gives the Panthers a more credible number 2 option, because if something does go wrong, the backup quarterback is one of those spots fans ignore until it matters, and it suddenly matters a lot. You know what I mean? So that's just my 2 cents on that. Smash that like button, subscribe. Appreciate that. KPM, remember when we debated on Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett? I do not remember that, KPM. I don't know who was debating on that, but tell YouTube you want your money for all these ads, Clay. I mean, I can't help what YouTube does, man. I wish I could. I wish I could. But just play YouTube Premium. Good stuff. YouTube ads is out of control. Yeah, I know. YouTube ads is they're always out of control, man. They're always out of control. They're always out of control. Shout out to 89 people watching over on the YouTube channel. Again, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We should have 89 likes. There's no reason why we shouldn't. If we have more votes, on the poll than we do likes, we got a problem. We have a problem. And I'm going to go check. I want to see if people are doing their homework. Your homework assignment when you come over the Robstar Report, even though I don't really give it out, I'm just busting your balls, is that we should have likes. That's it. That's all I ask. What's up, Leon? Yeah, I mean, guys, come on. The poll question, we got 71. We only got 39 likes. Come on. Get them likes up. Appreciate that, John. Appreciate you liking the live over here on the TikTok. Thank you. Not your fault, Clay. I know, right? It's always my fault, though. Somehow. All right, let's move on to the next big thing. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next big thing. The Brock Lesnar. No, I'm just kidding. Next big thing, Brock Lesnar. Okay. Lions signing center Cade Mays. So we lose Cade Mays. It wasn't catastrophic, but it wasn't nothing either. One of I think, our more frustrating offseason losses came from the offensive line. Cade Mays, of course, going to the Detroit Lions on a 3-year, $25 million contract with a $14 million guaranteed. Now, that number is a big part of why this one stands out, because it's not a tiny deal, but it's also not some outrageous contract that Carolina could never touch, right? So the Panthers, they made their choice here, right? Mays was a 6th-round pick in 2022 at Tennessee. His path through the ranks of Carolina was strange because early on he was mostly a depth piece. Then the Panthers released him in 2024. He briefly lands in New York, comes back to Carolina later that year, gradually works up his way into a serious role. And then in 2025, Austin Corbett suffered an MCL injury in week 2. May stepped in, held the center job for the rest of the season, and he played well. So his 2025 numbers were strong. 726 offensive snaps, 0 sacks allowed, 94.3 run blocking grade, or no, 94.3 run blocking win rate, excuse me. So that was some stats I read off. But over the last 2 seasons, also, he only allowed 21 pressures. So that's the real product. That's real production, right? That's not the he tried production. This was actually doing his job at pretty solid level production. Now, Detroit looked at that and paid for it. That's what they did. Carolina looked at it and decided to move on. Maybe we believe that they could replace him cheaper. Maybe they didn't want to commit to him longer. Maybe they had a target lined up already. Whatever the reason is, now they have to prove they were right, because if Mays keeps ascending in Detroit, this decision is going to get revisited a lot. Now, let's not forget, we go out and we sign Luke Fortner, who becomes our center. I also think that we will be looking for a center in the draft. I do think that we'll be looking for a center in the draft. Because once Mays left, though, they brought in Luke Fortner, didn't waste time trying to fill the hole of Cade Mays. Panthers signed Luke Fortner to a 1-year deal worth up to $4.75 million. This is the kind of move you make when you lose a starter and don't want to sit around pretending the problem might solve itself, right? This guy's a former first all SEC center, Kentucky. He was a 3rd-round pick by Jacksonville in the 2022 draft. He played 51 games, started 34 for the Jaguars. So this isn't some mystery box. This guy has real NFL experience. Now, he lost the starting job at Jacksonville during 2024, and Fortner was traded to the New Orleans Saints in 2025 for Kalen Saunders. Even there, he still started 10 games last year. So this is not the kind of signing that makes everyone jump through a table. I get that. But it is that kind of move that gives us a legitimate candidate to compete for that starting center job, right? Now, he may end up replacing Mays directly. He may just be part of the competition. Either way, we saw a need, and then they moved immediately. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Chuck Down Panthers, I'm going to have to tell you my next season record prediction will come. I'll do an early record prediction later on, but not right now. Not right now. All right, let's move on to the next one. So then, what else did we go? So then we go and get this guy last night. I was live on the NFC South Roundtable, I think, when this move was made. Stone Forsythe, right, gives us a left tackle insurance. Now, the Panthers, they go out, they get offensive tackle Stone Forsythe, another low cost but a meaningful move. This guy was a 6th-round pick by the Seattle Seahawks back in 2021. The coaching staff connection here is obvious. Previously, he's been with Dave Canales, Brad Ezek in Seattle, which matters when you're trying to add dependable depth quickly, right? So after his time with the New York Giants, he goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. He ends up starting 13 games for Las Vegas last season after Colton Miller got hurt. Now, the experience is the whole reason this move matters, okay? But I kind of have to show you something. Kind of have to show you something. I don't know if you guys are going to like this or not. It's you can decide for yourself. I mean, Stone Forsythe, 55.2 overall grade, 53.6 pass blocking grade. He also had a 56.1 run blocking grade. It's not good. It's not good. All I'm going to say is that with Ike Ekwonu, not the timeline for him recovering from that torn patellar tendon suffered in the playoffs is not just a minor injury. It is that kind of thing that you shrug off with. It's not something you could just be like, oh, well, I'll take a protein shake and and watch some motivational Instagram posts and, I'll be fine, right? We needed a real insurance at left tackle, and Forsythe does give us that, but he may not be the long-term answer. Obviously, he does not need to be the long-term answer. He just needs to be competent at best, even if Ike Ekwonu misses time. That's a boring objective. I get it. Boring objectives matter a lot when Bryce Young is the one standing behind the line, though. I'll tell you that. So you take it for what it's worth. Yosh is looking pretty good right now. Well, that's what I'm going to get to next, Josh. I'm glad you brought up Yosh Nijman, because where is it? I was talking about this earlier. So Panthers 1 year, $2 million deal, Stone Forsythe, 1.5, I guess guaranteed, $500,000 signing bonus, salary of 1.215. I guess that's what the incentives or whatever. So basically max he can make around 3.2 million, okay? If he hits all of his incentives. So it's not a crazy contract, but I did say this. I think it's a smart structure for his contract. Like I said, you're basically banking on this guy to be as a high upside depth piece. He's probably going to play a lot because right now, who else is playing left tackle? But this deal might also, that's what I'm saying. I think it could suggest that we're not out on Yosh Nijman yet. I don't think we're also out on Yosh Nijman yet because of what we did today, which was this. All right. So all these moves that came with one obvious issue, right? Was money. So we entered this free agency with just over 10 million in cap. Then immediately we're handing out these major contracts, right? That meant that our front office had to start doing what every aggressive NFL team eventually has to do. You have to push money around like a guy reorganizing his closet by shoving everything into one corner and hoping the door still closes. Because the first major cap clearing was releasing A'Shawn Robinson, which we saved 10.5. All right. Now, Robinson had signed with us in 2024, 3-year deal, right? He runs in Carolina. What was mixed. It was a mixed bag, in my opinion. Now, his first season was uneven, especially against the run. Things improved in 2025 after Derrick Brown returned. Robinson moved into more of that nose tackle role, finished 5th in the league with solo tackles among interior defensive linemen, so had solid production. Okay? But his cap number was too high for us in reality. So then came the big account movement, which was you restructure Derrick Brown's salary, right, into a $16.9 million signing bonus, which then cleared $13.5 million in our cap space. All right. That brought Derrick Brown's cap hit down to $10.9 million and this year, which helped immediately. Of course, the bill doesn't disappear. It just gets mailed to the future. Okay. So Brown's cap number now climbs to $31.3 million in 2027, and it rises again in 2028. So Carolina also added 2 void years, including the 2029, which carries a 6.6 cap charge, right? This is a standard NFL cap management. It's not reckless by itself. But it does mean that we are borrowing from tomorrow to pay for today, basically. And that's fine if the roster gets better fast. That's what you want to do. It gets ugly if it doesn't. And then let's just go through the rest of the free agency tracker here. So these are all the new signings, of course. Alongside the major moves, we made some re-signings. David Moore, Isaiah Simmons, Caleb Evans. I got to add to this list Thomas Ikum, Caleb. We also, I got to add to this list. No, I got Thomas Ikum. To add Trevis Gibson to this list, Isaiah Simmons. So we also re-signed James Mitchell, the tight end. He had 3 catches for 28 yards in 5 games last season. I mean, these guys aren't the sexiest moves, right? These are the kind of moves that fans scroll past because they don't break the internet. That's what most fans do. But roster building isn't just about stars, chat. Like, you need special teamers, you need rotational defenders, you need emergency depth, guys who already know the system, right? A few of these deserve a quick note. I think Travis Gibson definitely deserves one, right? Appeared in 10 games, recorded 2 sacks, including one in Carolina's wildcard loss to the Rams. Isaiah Simmons is still one of the more interesting depth bets because of his versatility. If Ejiro Evero can get this kid back to what he was like in Arizona, and he was meant to be coming out the draft, you don't have to worry about the linebacker position with him and Devin Lloyd. That is one thing I want to say. I love the Isaiah Simmons signing. I think it's a sneaky one. I think it's something that could really, I've always liked Isaiah Simmons coming out of college. All right. I'm thinking he can't, if I'm telling you, if anybody can get it out of him, I think Ejiro Evero is, just because of how versatile he is. You got to use him. You got to put him in the right situation, though. Of course, you got JJ Jansen, who came back, remains one of the roster staples, who just never seems to leave. Like the one chair in your house that everyone hates, but nobody ever throws it out. That's JJ Jansen. Okay. These moves won't define the season, but it does help complete your roster around the bigger additions. So we get to some of these comments here, because now we're going to get into some draft talk. Then we're going to get to some draft talk. I'm trying to get to some of these comments. Brady ? That's also another one. That's another one. I forgot about Brady Christian. Forgot about Brady Christensen. That's true. What's Yosh's PFF score? Well, let's look it up real quick. Obviously, a lot better than his. Problem is, his pass blocking grade is cheeks, my guy. Run blocking grade is great. Pass blocking grade is absolute cheeks. So, all right, let's move on. Let's get into some draft talk. Panthers gal, we are not talking about politics and stuff like that in here. Let's not bring up religion and politics. Like, I don't want to talk about that stuff right now. Really, I don't want to talk about it on this platform. So let's just leave it at that. Not that I'm against it. I just don't want to talk about it. Panthers 375. I would appreciate it if you stop talking about it. Appreciate that. It's just not something I want to talk about right now. Carolina Logic, what's up? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Talk about football. Let's leave it at football. Please. All right. So we make this big defensive signings, right? So this is where I'm wondering, will the Panthers shift their draft focus to offense? That's my question, right? We made it pretty clear what the priority was in free agency, defense. Okay, so we make all these moves, right, that we just broke down. Okay, with all these additions and, just with Jaelan Phillips and Devin Lloyd alone, dramatically changed the look of our defense, right? You push that unit much closer to being one of the better groups in the NFL. So with those moves done, all right. All right. The conversation around the Panthers' upcoming NFL draft Saturday has shifted quite a bit in my opinion, because everybody kept asking me, Clay, please, let's do a mock draft. I'm like, guys, I'm not doing mock drafts right now. Like, I did a little bit of draft content. I gave you I told you the guys I liked, the guys I didn't like. I broke down guys. I even made my own draft board. I actually need to transfer it over into PFF. But here's the thing. When we were talking about free agent, when we were talking about the draft, I kept saying we need to go linebacker, edge rusher. I don't feel like I need to go any of that, really. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need to get another linebacker, because we do. All right. This linebacker, you still need another one. You can't just rely on Devin Lloyd and Tre'Von Wallace and then everybody else behind them, right? You can't just sit there and have that, right? So most people are expecting Carolina, for the most part, address the defensive front. That made sense at the time. This year's draft class is loaded with edge rushers and linebackers for sure, which lined up nicely with the Panthers' big roster needs. So, but now those holes have been addressed in free agency, and the team's approach at pick 19 could very well differ. Now, I do think offense now suddenly makes sense. Why? Because now with Devin Lloyd and Jaelan Phillips in your building, you're no longer forced to chase defensive help early in the draft, right? That opens the door for a couple different approaches. You could simply go take best player available, regardless of the position, but realistically, the roster situation also makes it easy to justify targeting offensive help, especially with a few question marks developing on that side of the ball. Now, offensive line could be a priority. We all know that the offensive line could be a priority because this offensive line suddenly looks less stable than it did a few months ago, right? Because you lose Cade Mays, who goes off to Detroit. The biggest concern, though, is Ike Ekwonu. You don't know the timeline of his return from that what's it called? Torn patellar tendon, right? So, and there's a real chance he can miss a significant amount of time this upcoming season, possibly even the entire year. So the situation makes offensive line help a very real possibility in the first round, right? Now, two names that could make sense if they're still on the board at pick 19, I think, are these guys. So I'm going to pull them up real quick. I'm going to go over to tackle. Spencer Forsythe. Now, I know he's mainly been a right tackle. He has had time at left tackle, okay? Caden Proctor's another one, but I'm going to talk about Spencer Forsythe. Monroe Freeling's also another one of mine, so don't get me wrong there. All right, but I want to talk Caden Proctor first. I like Caden Proctor because coming out of Alabama, I think he brings obviously some massive size. 6'7", 352. Moves far better than someone that size usually does. He also has 3 years of starting experience, which makes one of the more NFL ready line in the class. Now, when we go to Fano, I like Fano as well. From Utah, he's another intriguing option. He knows he's known as a strong run blocker, has an impressive speed, has impressive agility for his size. The main concern with Fano, which was coming out of some of these draft analysts, were saying his arm length. So, which is shorter than what teams typically prefer of offensive tackle, even though his film in Utah has been strong enough that he's widely been expected a first-round pick. All right. Now let's get into some tight ends. Tight ends is another interesting one. Do we go Kenyon Sadiq? Do you go Eli Stowers? But let's talk about Sadiq real quick. All right. This also is one skill position player who could make sense for us if they want to add another weapon to this offense, because Oregon's tight end Kenyon Sadiq has, had a standout 2025 season, right, with the Ducks. So, finishing with 8 touchdown receptions, ranked among the top 25 in college football. He also made headlines at the NFL Combine, set a 40-yard dash record for tight ends. All right. Because of that athletic profile, Sadiq is projected to be selected somewhere, probably to that mid to late first round, right in that range where the Panthers will be picking anyways. Sorry, I had to get out of there. I had to turn off my my TikTok. I had to get out of there. So Sadiq could be it. Sadiq could be the move. I'm just being honest. Could be the move, but we'll see. Right? I mean, with the aggressive moves in free agency, they may have reshaped their draft strategy. They may have. Someone just said that we signed Levante David, but I get it. Clay trying to get his content out. You got to do what you got to do, man. This is a grind. If I want to ever do this full time, Town Panther, it's absolute grind. Guys, we got 55 likes, only 76. We got 76 of you watching. We got 106 votes, though. How do we have 106 votes, but yet we don't have 106 likes? Like, we got 107 votes on the poll, but not 107 likes. I could care less about that poll I put up there for you guys, and more about you guys hitting that thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. It goes a long way. And you be doing me a huge favor. And I got a fever. And the only prescription is more likes. And if you haven't seen that SNL skit, you've been living under a rock. All right, we'll mock it up. Sizzle with that $9 donation. Shout out to Sizzle. Appreciate you. You definitely been all over the Panthers news this offseason. Keep going hard. I appreciate it. Doing the best that I can, my friend. Working full time and still putting out full-time content, I feel like. Appreciate you, Sizzle. All right, mock it up. Mock it up. We'll mock it up. Why not? Why not? Rock says he wanted me to mock. I think someone said mock it up. Oh, we'll mock it up. Why not? All right. Let's see how this start. Let's see. Fernando Mendoza. Can you slow down? Slow. We got Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love, Ariel Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. Okay, we can step it up a little bit. $10 is $10. Yeah, I'll take it any way I can get it. That's for sure. I don't expect you guys to do that though. All right, so let's see. Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love. I mean, Jeremiah Love's not going to the Jets, man. Whatever. Averill Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, David Bailey, Ruben Bain, Mansur Delane, Francis Moyagao, or what? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Makai Lemon, okay. Spencer Fano, Dylan Thyman, Kenyon Sadiq to the Ravens, CJ Allen. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. I know a lot about him, but I can't even pronounce. I still cannot pronounce his name. So we got Caleb Banks and Monroe Freeling. So, damn, they moved. PFF moved Emmanuel McNeil Warren all the way up here. That's wild. All right, so we got Jeremiah McCoy, Jordan Tyson, Akeem Messador. We got Kedrick Falk. We got Avion Terrell. Damn, they moved Omar Cooper Jr. all the way up here. Jeez, they've moved their draft board so far around. I'm tempted to take Avion Terrell. I'm not taking McCoy, Rob, just because of the injury. He's coming off that injury. I'm not sure if I'm willing to draft a guy who's coming off that injury. Getting crazy, I know. Avion Terrell feels like a good one. Blake Miller also is nice. Would you rather have Goddard and Njoku? That's a great question. Well, let me think on that for a minute. I'm trying to think here. Chad. Give me a second here. Trying to think what I want to do. Let me see what trades I got available. So I got Philly looking at me at 23. I got Vegas at 36. I'm thinking about moving back. Who has the 30? Yeah. There was somebody else. Was that the Bills? Nope. Texans? Nope. Broncos? Nope. Who had the 35th? Oh, the Titans. Where's the Bears? Where's their next pick? No. Browns. Might be the Browns that I want to go with. Yeah, I'm not moving back for that. The team that I'm looking at is the Browns. Hold on, I'm texting my wife from my computer. Sorry, chap. I'm just thinking. Trade the pick, Clay. I like the Avion Terrell thing. I like Proctor, but he's always see. The thing is like the way that this board fell. Let me go back. Let's start over because I don't like the way this board fell. First off, let me refresh this. This is the reason why I hate PFF. It's because their board I wish they would keep it more realistic, but it is what it is. Now that seems more realistic. I could even see that. I still might even trade back after this. Yeah, I'm taking a trade. Fuck it. I'm taking trades. I could still probably get Proctor after this trade. I'm thinking. I'm thinking here. Hold on. So if we take, I'm trying to think. If I take, um, excuse me. Hold on. I'm looking through. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for something on my phone that I saw the other day about a draft, but I don't know if I'll find it. All right, that's all good. All right, let me trade back here. I'm going to go 24. I mean, I think a realistic trade would be. Can he give me 39? I mean, that would be sick. It sure be cool if you did. I tell you that. No. You give me that. They'll accept that? Just pick swaps? How about you give me 107, we'll call it even. There we go. All right. I'm going to take, I think right here I'll take a. I guess I could take Cade McDonald too, though. Getting a true 3 technique. Getting a true 3 technique in there with Derek Brown would be legit. That's for sure. We gotta get somebody in there left tackle though. I think I'm gonna be able to pull this off the way I want to. Who's another defensive tackle that's gonna be right there though? Is there gonna be another one that could fall at 39? Oh, Lee Hunter. Cade McDonald is a nose pit tackle. All right. What about left tackles? What do I have at tackle coming back to me? Caleb Lemieux. I forgot about that. Okay. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna rock. We're gonna rock Caden. All right, we're gonna go through this. This draft's gonna be kind of like a go through quick. So we're gonna go Caden to get our 3 technique. We're gonna get our nose right there. Okay, boom. No, they took. All right, what do we got at? Oh, fuck. I forgot he's right tackle. Okay, Caleb Tierner's still here. 2470. Okay, we still got a chance to get Caleb Tierney. Cage Casey's still there as well. God, I should have went fucking tackle, man. Ah, damn. All right. Well, I'm taking Jacob Rodriguez right here. Hopefully that maybe one of these tackles falls. I know Caleb Tierney was going to. I knew that was going to happen. It's been a while since we've done one of these. So we got Caden McDonald at 24 with the trade back. We were able to get the 39th pick and the 107. It was just a big gap in between from 39 to 3rd. So we still need an offensive tackle. I would even say we need a tight end. I might go best of player available. I mean, you got wide receivers right here. But hell, I don't even know if we need to draft another wide receiver. Oh, shit. We got a center right here. Yeah. Yeah. That's my center. Damn. I might take him. What left tackle do I still have available? Markel Bell. Ooh, 95. Could he fall to 107? Doubt it. Could I get Cage Casey? Could get Cage Casey. All right, what else? Tight end. What do we got? What are we looking here? Justin Jolly moved back. Okay. We're working with something here. All right. All right, we got this. Genuine question, is Jake Slaughter actually good, or is he like because of his name? No, he's fucking. Go do your homework on Jake Slaughter. I'll tell you that. Go do your homework. Look at that. 2023 games played, sacks allowed 2. 2024 13 games played, sacks allowed 1. 2025 sacks allowed 1. Hits 1. Hurries. What are we talking about? Why are y'all are picking Connor Lew over Jake Slaughter? You're out of your mind. Go watch the tape. If you think that Connor Lew is better than Jake Slaughter, you're out of your mind. Because Cam Jackson hasn't done anything to prove that he's a reliable nose tackle yet. Jamon, he hasn't done anything. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he could develop, but right now we're going based off of 1 year. He hasn't done nothing. I'm very tempted to take Jake Slaughter here because really I don't have any other choice. Who else am I going to take here? Devin Moore? No, because he's not a slot corner. Dalen Everett, I could move him to slot. Do I take Genesis Smith? No, not really, because his missed tackle rate's bad. Great ball hawk safety. Why do you keep saying Anthony Hill? He's not even up on here. Damn, they moved Anthony Hill 92? God dang, they be moving people around on this thing. Never mind, he is on there. Shit, I didn't think he was that far. But I don't need Anthony Hill. Why would I take Anthony Hill Jr.? I just drafted Jacob Rodriguez. When is Anthony Hill going to get any playing time? I'm taking Jake. I'm going with what I believe in. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, the world may never know. All right. So I need a tight end and a left tackle. All right. Let me see what I got at tackle here. Could take Jude. Brian Parker, the second. Let's see what safety we got available. Got my boy Bud Clark. Could take Michael Taft later. I might take him later on. I think I'm going to take, though. I'm going to take the chance with Cade Casey. And then, oh, wait, damn, they moved Jalen Kilgore up too. Cade Casey. Guys, this is why we're not doing mock draft 1.0s, because I need to see how PFF is working anyways. We ain't doing it. This ain't a true mock draft yet. We're just doing this one for fun. But I'm just trying to see how this board is going to fall, so I can strategize better. What up, Marcos? No, Kilgore moved up, man. You can't take him later now, Jamon. They moved his ass up to 122. Like, damn. Oh, there's my boy Justin Jolly. Taking him. Low drop weight, 6'3", 263. Yards per route run, pretty high up there for a tight end. Contested catches at 60% receiving grade. Actually, wait, where's my other boy at? Is he still up here? Tanner? The guy can't block worth shit, but it's got a low drop rate. Receiving grades at 87.3. Yards per route, so 2-point contested catch. I might take him later on. What I might do here is now that I got a center and a left tackle, I'm not going to draft another one. Should I draft another wide receiver? I mean, who's available? I mean, do I really need to? Not really. Oh. But he's not a slot. He's just not a slot corner, man. Fuck. I mean, do I take Bud this far down? I mean, his ADP, though, is way down there. They still say that our needs are wide receiver. Okay. Or do I take Kilgore here? Oh, Jalen Kilgore. Calling it a day. Scooted. That worked out. So far, not bad, right? So far, not bad. We probably reached for Cage, but it wasn't much of a reach. Wasn't that much difference in the value because he was at 114, 107. It's not that big of a deal. Joe Rohr is here. What else we got? All right, chat. I'm going to let you pick the last. I'm going to let y'all pick. We got our center. We got a left tackle. Could have got Logan Jones later on, but I like Slater. We got our 3 technique. We got an extra linebacker to go along beside Devin Lloyd. We'll still have Trevor Wallace on the roster. Jake Slaughter can be competition for that starting center position with Fortner. You get Cade Casey, a true left tackle. Cade Casey is very underrated, by the way. Also, Cade Casey had a great Cade Casey also had a great a solid combine, and he also had a good Senior Bowl. Let's look. All right, we got a lot of people saying safety. Let's see what we got. Anybody here? Oh, damn! You could get either one of these guys late. Isn't this the guy who ran like a 4.23 or something like that? The safety, was it Robert Spears Jennings? I can't remember. I know Lorenzo did, but he's so far back there, man. The Texas Tech safety, Cole Wozniacki. Well, we could take him at 199 probably. I'm not taking him at a value at 156. All right, so another position group. What do we need? We need a tight end. Anybody here? I'm kind of holding out for Tanner, but when am I going to get Tanner again? Probably not. So I don't see a tight end here. Do we go running back? Do I see anybody worth a dang? Not really. All right, so I don't see anybody there. I mean, shit. Damn, Skylar Gill Howard. Played only 7 games. He must have had a bad injury. What about wide receiver? Do we go look at the wide receiver? Do we take another edge rusher to add to this edge rushing room? Damn, I don't know, bro. Because we're at pick 157. We've got back-to-back picks here. Running back from Indiana. Kalen Black. All right. Amazing K saying best player available. Well, that would be Joe Rohrer, but 0 drop rate, contested catch rate. He's also 6'5", 250. Averages 14.3 yards per catch. 4 yards a touchdown. We could take him best player available. It's hard to predict with Dan. That's for damn sure. We could go best player available here, which is Joe Rohrer. We'll just go best player available. Not going best player available with that. I mean, Michael Taft makes a lot of sense. Take our annual Notre Dame tight end now. I'm thinking about taking Taft, man, or Tafe, or whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce it. Got a high coverage grade, doesn't miss tackles. Great against run blocking, forced incomplete passions 0, but run defensive grade's pretty solid. I feel like you can't go wrong with him here. And where's that running back? Running back, where is he at? Kalen Black, he could fall to 199. So I might take Taft here. All right, so we take Taft. I thought I did it to the 7th round. Did I pick the 6th round? Oh well. Oh well. Well, shit. There ain't much to work with now, is there? We can take a fullback. This guy's a fullback? Okay, played 13 games just for shits and giggles, right? I've never even heard of this guy. Fullback, 92.9 run. 92.9 overall grade, 13 games played, attempted 77 rushing attempts, 400, basically 500 yards, averaged 6.5, had a touchdown, had 3 touchdowns. But damn, look at his receiving yards for a fullback. Zach says that fullback ran a 4.4. Damn, hold on. Receptions, 51 receptions, targeted 79, and had 941 receiving yards, and he's a fullback and ran a 4.4, 6 foot, 206. Why not? Fuck it. Just for shits and giggles. This one doesn't count. This was just a fun one. This was just a fun one. We will actually do the mock draft 1.0. I promise you, like I will do a full mock draft breakdown, legit, actual one this week. We'll do one this week. I got to get some things together, but that was a fun one. All right, chat. Well, there you go. That's a fun one. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Free agency's not over with yet, even though it's whatever you want to call it. It's still going on. Shout out to everyone in the chat, man. I appreciate you guys. Y'all are awesome tonight. Appreciate all the love, support. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you click the post notifications bell so you don't miss out new content. Other than that, guys, I will see you on Friday. I promise you, mock draft 1.0. Real mock draft will be this Friday. All right. Live here in the flesh. You know where to be. Friday night. I'll see y'all then. Keep pounding. Peace.